National Guard presence at New York airports to stop untested travelers from entry. This is largely in response to an increase that we'll see in holiday travel. What do you make of that call?
Well, so there's a little bit of fear-mongering there. When you hear National Guard, you get a little nervous. This is something that I've actually called for. I think the earliest I said it on TV was in April. Mind you, he didn't call the National Guard for the riots and the protests and all the other things, but apparently now, better late than never. Here's the thing. If we are going to not halt interstate travel, then we have to make sure that we are not continuing to bring the virus all across the country. It doesn't make that big of a difference now because it's widespread. Really, in the beginning is when it should have happened. It really should have kept it halted in a region. But I think that if you want to be on an airplane, if you want to be on a train, if you want to be in these close contained spaces, maybe you should have a test within 48 hours. I don't think that's unreasonable. You know, the armed guard presence, you know, I don't want it to turn into that country or that situation where people have fear. But I do think the responsible thing to do is if you're going to travel, if you're going to visit other people, we need to make sure that you don't have COVID-19. We know there's a lot of asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic spread. And until we have that vaccine, which good news, we're probably going to have multiple approved candidates early 2021 thanks to Operation Warp Speed. Until then, we need to be responsible and do what we can as individuals to lessen the spread.
Yeah, personal responsibility comes into play here big time. Thank you, Dr. Nicole Saphier. Appreciate it as always. Still ahead, Twitter is taking on the president, flagging some of his election tweets. Now a new social media company wants to compete, saying big tech has gone too far. The CEO of Parler joins us next.
This Veterans Day, we're celebrating our nation's most revered heroes and honoring those who have served to protect our freedoms. Part of our all-day Proud American coverage. Visit foxnews.com/proudamerican for more. Brought to you by USAA.
It's an important time to save. With Priceline, you can get up to 60% off amazing hotels. And when you get a big deal, you feel like a big deal. Priceline. Every trip is a big deal.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a few years old or dinosaur old, we want to buy your car. Go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Today, from Wall Street to the White House, Neil delves into the full impact of the legal battles in key states on a must-see Cavuto Live.
I speak from personal experience when I say that losing weight is a real struggle, and keeping that weight off is even harder. After losing 100 pounds, I still had really slow metabolism, and I was craving food all the time. A lot of products out there promise a lot of different fairy tales, but Riduzone is the only one I've found that controls my appetite. But don't just take it from me. Here's Diane to tell you about her experience with Riduzone.
I feel physically different after taking Riduzone. I know that I lost weight. I'm not one that really steps on the scale all that much. I just go by more with how my clothes fit and what I look like in the mirror. I was wearing that bathing suit this year for vacation, and I just love how my clothes are fitting there. I still want to lose a little bit more, and I know that Riduzone will help me do that because I'm just eating differently. I'm eating less, and I don't have the cravings.
See the difference for yourself. Go to Riduzone.com and use offer code TV to get 30% off your first 3-month supply. That's Riduzone.com.
Selling a home is expensive and stressful, so we set out to create a better home selling experience with a network of the most successful real estate agents in America that'll sell your home for as little as a 2% commission.
The icing on the cake with the Ideal Agent was that we saved $12,000 in commission.
They were so stress-free, the whole process was amazing, and I would definitely recommend them.
We are not a discount brokerage. These are top local agents that'll get you the best results.
Guys, are you tired of frequent nighttime bathroom trips? Well, Force Factor Prostate helps reduce urges to urinate, plus fully empty your bladder and promote a normal prostate size. Don't settle. Choose Force Factor Prostate from the #1 fastest growing men's health brand at Walmart.
Are you sick and tired of looking and feeling heavy? ProBioSlim promotes healthy digestion and helps you lose weight. Patented probiotics ease constipation, gas, and bloating, while powerful EGCG burns fat and calories. Unleash your potential with ProBioSlim, the #1 probiotic fat burner at Walmart.
Once you start content curation and you start fact-checking or introducing bias, so in terms of being a platform for transparency and free speech, they've gone way too far.
This is the CEO of Parler, a new social media company, and he's calling out Twitter and Facebook for their election censorship, saying it's gone too far.
As nearly half of President Trump's posts since Election Day have been flagged as misinformation. Parler CEO John Mates joins us now to discuss. John, thank you very much for being here this morning. I got to tell you, I watched the totality of social media, including the president's Twitter feed, and it felt like North Korea level stuff as far as the suppression of any suggestion that there was impropriety. Couldn't even have a free and open conversation. Are they going to get away with this?
Thank you for having me. In terms of getting away with it, I think there's a lot of pressure on these companies right now to kind of change their behavior. And I think we're going to see more and more pressure, fall onto them for what they're doing. And I don't think it's possible for Twitter to say with a 100% fact that there's not one mistake in the election and that there is not one fraudulent vote. So fact checking the president on all of this is pretty ludicrous. And frankly, I think it's part of our election process that allows to check the results and recount. So what they're doing is really interfering with what he's trying to say. People should be able to listen and judge for themselves.
Yes.
You know, Don, one of the concerns that people have with Twitter is that the information seems to be very selectively flagged. It's not across the board that misinformation is flagged. It's just with certain people. And I'm curious, your role as CEO of Parler, how do you view Parler? I mean, do you flag any misinformation, even if it's misinformation that can absolutely be said this is false? How do you handle those issues?
Well, we believe in the idea of community fact-checking, and what that is a comment section for people to talk to one another. It's kind of like a novel thing, allowing people to communicate and discuss things on their own. So really, no, we don't fact-check. We don't get involved. There's no reason to. And actually, if we were to behave like a platform, which is what we are, a platform, and not a publisher like what Twitter and Facebook are doing, we just allow free conversation. That's how we're supposed to act as a neutral body who's just providing a service for people.
John, you brought up pressure. There's mounting pressure on these social media companies. Let me just follow up on that really quickly. Most of that pressure is coming from the President of the United States and the Republican Party. We don't know the outcome of this election yet, but assuming it's divided government, do you expect that pressure to continue? You know, identifying Section 230 as something to re-examine. Do you think a Democratic administration would embrace this kind of censorship or continue with pressure towards these social media companies?
Well, I think if you're benefiting from the censorship, you're not likely to stand up so much to it. But I will say that, it's going to fall down to probably either the court system for an interpretation of Section 230, which Section 230 is this protection for these companies so that they're not liable for, what people are saying on their platform. Right. And so you might look at seeing an interpretation in the courts. And Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has actually suggested that if this were to go to the Supreme Court, the current law may be interpreted in a way that would remove those protections.
It has to make its way to the Supreme Court. It'll put the Democrats in a very difficult position of whether or not they're going to be the party of censorship. John, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, we have a big show. Jim Jordan, Ronna McDaniel, Jason Chaffetz, and Kevin McCarthy on Fox & Friends.
When I wake up in the morning, love, sunlight hurts my eyes. Then I look at you. Good morning. And I know it's gonna be a lovely.
This is the feeling of total protection. Now that we protect your identity and mobile phone as well as your auto, home, and life, you've never been in better hands. Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
When it comes to home fitness, one name is redefining it all: Echelon. Echelon's Connected Bikes fitness